2025. New year, new day, new opportunities here on the planet. What's good? What's good? On my way to get my morning routine started. My exercise run. Get this 5K in real quick. What's good? I'm grateful. Grateful for today. So I started this daily vlogging journey. Started it a couple days ago. Inspired by a YouTuber named DontayLondon. Shout out to Dante. Talking about YouTube, you know, just like turning on the camera for 20 minutes, capturing, filming. And it's interesting. I love the possibility and the opportunity of the platform. When I first got on YouTube, I think some of the first videos I made might have been around the pandemic, and I was doing like lives, you know, aside from random videos. I spent a lot of time on a platform. YouTube's a great platform to just research stuff, to learn about things. I've learned so much, and you know, that's where the term, I guess, YouTube University came in. You know, as a search engine, as to watch interviews, to learn how to do things, solve problems. I mean, you know, I remember using YouTube back in the days when I was driving, my key got stuck in the ignition, didn't know how to get it out. I went on YouTube, put in the search, somebody had the same problem, was able to fix it. You know, there's a lot of great tools out and available. But apparently, one of the things that have inspired me to get moving on this platform is, the ability to connect with people, realizing that I don't want to have to wait for someone to give me a platform to, you know, get my work, my art out, especially. But according to Dante, who's been vlogging or been on the YouTube platform for at least 5 years, maybe longer. You know, he started out doing daily vlogs and was not seeing a lot of traction. And, you know, he talks about consistency. He was consistently uploading, but he wasn't monetized yet and wasn't getting views. And it took him a long time to get monetized. The thing about these platforms, the algorithm is always changing. You know, what works now may not work years from now. So being a student of these platforms, paying attention to how they're changing, how they're growing, how their involvement is part of the process. You got to be able to adapt, especially as things change, and they're always changing. You know, there's always going to be some new platform that doesn't exist, that's going to pop up. But particularly with YouTube right now, what I've observed on Dante's channel, based on what he's sharing anecdotally and showing, you know, you can go check out his channel, that small creators are getting pushed out for promoting the platform. And a lot of these platforms are the same way. You know, they want you on it, they want you engaged, you know, spending a lot of time on the platform. You know, that's what builds attention, and that's what attracts revenue. And, you know, a lot of people have experienced struggles with getting views and getting attention without paying, or without going through some hoops to try to get people to connect. In the early days of social media, you know, I remember back in the MySpace days, you know, there was a moment in time where it was like, you know, the emergence of that platform was a game changer for me as an artist and a performer, because it was like, oh, I can reach people that I don't know. I could discover new music. I could share my art. I made a lot of connections in the early days of that platform because you were able to reach a large group of people by sending out what what was called bulletins at the time. And, you know, there's peaks and valleys in all of the evolutions of all the platforms that I've seen. And, you know, with YouTube right now, you know, you have, in the past, you've had the large content creators. You still have them, like the Mr. Beasts and the people who have been on the platform for years making all kinds of content that people have modeled. But these platforms still need eyeballs. They need attention. They need growth. So, you know, YouTube is pushing out content for and supporting small creators, according to Dante. So, you know, as someone who follows and, you know, spends a lot of time on the platform, actually, you know, I had some feelings about how I want to use YouTube. You know, there's, you know, especially with the emergence of AI now, there's all of this, there are all these faceless channels that some folks are doing very well with. And it's going to be very interesting to see how the platforms continue to evolve, given the emergence of AI. And, you know, already I'm starting to see, you know, platforms having options to sort of identify what content is AI generated, because, you know, that's going to be a challenge in the future, distinguishing what's real, what's authentic, making sure that the data that you're getting from AI is accurate. There's a lot of conversations and buzz around that. But the question is, like, when something is trending, you know, and you identify a trend early, the question for myself is, like, do I hop on that trend if I'm focused on growth on the platform? You know, it may help to be strategic, you know, if you choose a certain path. Like, people use these platforms for different reasons. And, you know, I have been enjoying making a daily vlog so far, you know, and it's not, you know, it may not be getting a lot of attention. And one of the things that I think is important is to, whatever platform you're on or whatever you're doing, when you're engaging in something new, I think it's helpful to experiment a little and see for yourself. So I'm definitely going to be doing that myself with this channel. I had, you know, the most quote unquote success on this platform. And, you know, how do you define success, right? I was grateful to have it for over the pandemic when I was doing live streams of my music show, Symphonics Live, which is a variety show that I've been producing in person for many years. You know, it features poets, singer-songwriters. I hosted and curated. Each of the artists do their individual sets, and then there's like some improvisation. We'll improvise songs and have the different groups collaborate on stuff. But over the pandemic, I was doing, you know, I learned how to broadcast live on YouTube and to use a platform like Zoom as well. I think I was using also Ecamm, which is a program to help manage streaming. There's a bunch of them out, but I also tried OBS, which is another streaming platform. But at the time, over the pandemic, I found out a way to use my interface to play my music that, you know, I make through Ableton and Logic, and with my mic, and to have a pretty decent sound, and to basically put on a virtual show. So YouTube was great. It was a great outlet and platform and channel to have. And, you know, I probably got like 100 views. It's not, you know, it may not be a lot of views by other standards in terms of like trying to get monetized by the platforms. But I knew that during the pandemic, nobody was getting in rooms with each other. There was no way to gather, like, you know, and making art, doing theater, putting on music, is predicated on, you know, folks being able to be in a space and be in a room together. Sorry about the sirens. This is New York City. Things are popping. But the thing about I experimented. I tried something new, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I figured out how to stream. I figured out how to pull in different artists from around the country on the platform through Zoom, and then plugging them into YouTube Live. using the other tool I mentioned, Ecamm, as well. And that was, a great discovery to know that I could still put on a show, even though my peoples were not, some people fled New York once the pandemic happened. So I had artists that were in Texas, Jersey, all over, just plugging into a show that I, pulled into a YouTube live stream, you know what I mean? So the platform gave me a reach that I didn't have in person. And so right now, being consistent is important with whatever you do. And I talk about that a lot on this channel, just like whether it's getting in shape or building a career, consistency is something that is essential to be successful. And, Dante was on YouTube for over 5 years, the YouTuber I mentioned, and he was being consistent, which I think is still part of the formula, right? Because these platforms reward engagement. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's attention. We're all, as Gary Vaynerchuk likes to say, we're all day trading attention. And YouTube wants to grow as a platform. So I'm turning on my camera for 20 minutes. And right now, this moment, I'm talking about YouTube. Will I continue to make videos about the platform itself? That seems kind of meta to me, but it's awesome because it's great to hear that people are having success, and there's no knock on that. The reason I'm on here is because I want to reach people. So I'm going to follow Dante's advice and be strategic. And I think that also, what's working evolves and changes, right? Because there's a question of, well, could this strategy get saturated or whatever? I don't know. The real answer is nobody knows. But putting in the work and trying things, like the invention of the light bulb, it took a lot of failure to make that happen. So I'm making content, turning on my camera, 20 minutes. Today, talking about YouTube as a platform. But, there are other ways to engage on the platform as well. People have different strategies depending on what your goals are. And I'm not knocking, being strategic, or people who are making shorts or doing stuff with AI. Hey, if it meets your goal and it works, you're not hurting anybody, do what you need to do. That's my personal philosophy. But it's just interesting just paying attention to see how these platforms work and how being strategic is important. And being strategic on making content is, if you're an artist or if you're building a business, there's nothing wrong with that. Not at all. And, even building a career, I found in acting, I've been strategic, whether consciously or unconsciously, by building communities, getting associated with theater companies that have a lot of artists that create and generate work. As I connect the dots looking backwards, I can trace a lot of jobs that I've gotten and opportunities in that career to being a part of different communities and having associations. So, whether I was strategic in engaging them at the time, I could see the results, and then looking back, I can share that blueprint with other people, which I was like, yo, this is what worked. This is what, sorry, I hit stop on the camera for a second. This is what actually worked. And say, hey, your path could be a little shorter if you want to do this, this, and this in acting. These are the steps that I took that helped. But so I'm on this platform. I'm going to continue to be on it. I'm going to continue to make videos and engage. I haven't been consciously promoting my channel. I am curious about what happens organically on the platforms. And I know that I'm good at door to door, hand to hand, engaging with people, calling them, reaching out. And, maybe at some point I will do that for this channel. I haven't done that at all. I haven't really been trying to promote this channel manually, other than, you know, within the context of what I was doing with symphonics. But, you know, I may do that in the future because I know that I can, you know, build up the subscriber base, which helps, you know, in order to qualify for YouTube's partner program. You know, it has certain criteria. You got to have a certain amount of watch hours. You got to be uploading consistently, and you got to have a certain number of subscribers as well. So you got to meet those metrics. I'm still learning about what those are. I know 1,000 subscribers, I think, is one of the benchmarks. So, you know, if I have the ability to get subscribers, I probably should be doing that anyway. But I am more curious to see what happens as I continue to make content. But like I talk about all the time too, I think it's important to model people and have proximity to people who are doing what you want to do or have the results that you want to have. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you can always take the time to learn what somebody else is doing that's working. And it's a great way to save yourself the pain of learning some mistakes on your own. And it's just important to be able to be flexible, to pay attention to what activities and what action you're taking. So I highly recommend you check out Dantay's channel, DontayLondon. Shouts again to him for putting out content that's talking about the platform, that's talking about what he's having success with. And, you know, my channel is far from being monetized at the moment, so I do appreciate when people share strategies. And, you know, he's really being passionate about not getting in your own way and copying. He's been gracious enough to say, yo, copy my titles, copy exactly what I'm doing. He's having a lot of success, and he's going to continue to do what's working for him as he's been monetized and starting to see a rise in income that's upgrading his lifestyle. And you know, he's mentioning his next milestone, that he's gonna get a car this month from YouTube, which is, you know, based on his activity on YouTube and how he's been compensated based on the views. So if you do have interest in getting on YouTube and experimenting with what works and what doesn't, try it. Just try it out. Try it out for yourself and model what's working for successful people. And also, you know, what's working changes and evolves. So don't be afraid to pivot and try and experiment and see what kind of results you get. So if you want to hop on this YouTube wave, apparently now is the time for small creators to be making content. And the thing about the content he's making, I mean, it's not highly edited or anything. It's not edited at all. And some of his Dantay's earlier videos, he talks about how, you know, he was editing and vlogging and saw very little traction on his channel. But the moment he started talking about YouTube, the platform, the moment he started talking about a day in the life at work and what it's like to be on a job, because, you know, there are people out there who are interested to see how people are making a living, to how they're navigating their lives. And it's not something people always talk about publicly, especially if they're having success. You know, sometimes people don't talk about the details of their day-to-day, whether they choose to not have conversations about it or it's not interesting for them to talk about that they're living through it. But I am fascinated by how people think, the choices they make, and what motivates them to do the things that they're doing. And that curiosity, for me, lies in the fact that I'm an actor. I'm always trying to study people, study myself, so that I can A, exercise my empathy, B, become a better artist and actor. So having the ability to listen, analyze, feel, experience and observe is a super important skill. So get on this YouTube platform. If that's something you've been thinking about, even, if you're like, oh yeah, I'd like to try to figure out how to do that. But don't think that you need any fancy equipment to make it happen. I mean, most people have a smartphone or some kind of digital device or tablet that they can use. Just turn the camera on, talk for 20 minutes, and be consistent. To do it every day and to upload consistently, in addition to, following and patterning what is working right now. There's a lot of different approaches you can take, and you got to find something that works for you. But don't be afraid to fail. And I'm saying this for myself too. It's like, I get so caught up in my own routines and patterns, and sometimes in order to change circumstances or change how you approach things, you gotta get out of your comfort zone. You gotta be able to acknowledge, hey, I'm not resistant to certain ideas. And that's part of the reason why personally, when I mentioned this, why I was producing my music show, Symphonics Live, the variety show, something about, it challenged me in so many ways, because it forced me to work with people, with different artists and different personalities, and it forced me to really get comfortable with doing the things I wasn't comfortable doing at the time. It's a lot of work. As an artist, artists want to show up and perform or just have their art on display, focus on the making of art, and not have to, always be involved with promoting it. I know a lot of artists who have feelings about selling their art or promoting it, and I still have wrestled with those feelings and still continue to do so. But I knew, when I started putting on the show, like, there were a lot of things that were uncomfortable for me that I just didn't know how to do, and I was like, all right, well, this is something I want to do in the future. Be able to have more agency in how my work is shared and created. So I'm gonna have to get out and learn new things, and acknowledge whenever I'm feeling resistance or discomfort, and do it anyway. Everything was uncomfortable, when you were a baby and you were crawling, you had to learn how to walk, and it took some time, and then we learn new skills, and then they become second nature. So this is like everything else. So turning on a camera and putting it on and talking for 20 minutes, if that's a level of discomfort, it's a fun exercise to try and do. But that's what I got for today. Sending love, sending positive energy. Hope your year is getting off to a good start. If you have any thoughts about this video, drop them in the comment section. Love to hear if anything resonated or anything you wanted to share in terms of the YouTube platform or just life in general, how you navigating this new year. Yesterday I talked about setting intentions, and this is one of my intentions, to be like, all right, we get out the comfort zone and increase the frequency and consistency of hopping on the platform. So, and part of that theme, me going to the park right now to run. Frequency, consistency. I ran yesterday, ran the day before that. I wasn't running at all. And it's a process, right? Everything is a process. Start where you are, just get started. Keep building on that. All right, have a great day. Peace and blessings and love.